We're good?
I don't want to make light of things, but the whole 6 foot apart distance for me is perfect. I mean, I've always kind of had this approach to things. I mean, it's always just been how I've operated. Stay back. I need this bubble.
It's not for everyone.
No, it's not for everyone. Wait, my bubble's not for everyone?
Yeah.
Or the 6?
No, I've heard your bubble's not for everyone.
No, it's not for anyone. I would get out of it if I could. So you're back on the stage, which is awesome. You're doing some comedy shows.
Yeah.
What's that looking like in the age of COVID?
It looks a little weird. I have done shows for church groups. I've done shows for biker gangs. I recently did a birthday party for an 18-year-old.
Really?
At this point in time, you just kind of take whatever's available out there, and because none of the venues that regularly host comedy shows are doing it anymore because of all the restrictions. So, and sadly, all the outdoor shows that are happening now aren't going to continue once it gets 20 below zero outside.
I don't think that's true. I think you can do an outdoor show because there's been a lot of like drive-in shows, right? They sit in their cars anyway.
It's weird.
And you're working. I mean, you can be outside for an hour, man. Come on.
It's weird.
Sure, it's weird.
Yeah. I haven't met Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How you doing?
Mark,
Nice
Christie.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So Mark is.
Is this a good time to do this?
I think normally this happens
Seize
before
the
the
day.
show.
Seize the
Yeah,
day.
I'm
Seize
not
the
a good
moment.
host because I
No,
would have
you're
introduced
great.
you guys in the pre-show meeting that we always have before a guest comes out. But yeah, Christie's been with us now for about a couple of months, right? Almost a couple of months.
Awesome.
And Mark has done our show, what, 5, 6 times
I think
now?
this is number 4.
Really?
Yeah, every 2 years. I looked it up.
Seriously?
Yeah,
every 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow, we're very routine. It's
You
like
look
we
through
have
your
a
old
pill.
emails and you're like, oh yeah, that guy. We'll have him back on.
No, that's not how it works at all. It's not formulaic at all. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it is weird. I lost 2 jobs to COVID. Lost my radio job back in March, and of course comedy.
Oh, we do the introductions? Is
I think so.
He's over me.
I wanted to be sure.
I am so old news.
I thought it was proper.
See, I was the bad host. Now you're the bad guest.
Yeah.
So, we're all making friends tonight.
She remains pristine, right?
Always.
So, all right, so you lost 2 jobs. I don't mean to make light of that because that's very serious. A lot of people have had situations like that.
Yeah, and I've been unemployed before in my life, go figure. But I've always been able to bounce back pretty quickly. And this one, in March, I had nothing and nothing on the horizon. And I'm like, wow, for the first time in my life, I had to sign up for unemployment. So, of course, they give you 80% of what you were making at the time. And I signed up in April. So I also got an extra $600 a week.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking at my bank account, and week after week, I get a little chunk and then $600. And I'm thinking about my work history, and I'm looking at my bank account, and I'm like, you know what? The best job I've ever had is being unemployed. I think the universe is trying to tell me something.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad this year's working out for you.
That's not the case anymore. I do have a job now.
Yeah, so
so
you're back on stage a little bit, but I guess the big news is the return of the Breakfast Club and the return of WIGY to Auburn, which is awesome.
Stan Bennett, who has been in radio for over 30 years.
Yeah, which is weird because he's 28.
He's 29. He just turned 29.
Sure.
Yeah. Stan has been doing radio in Bath and Portland all his life, and decided he wanted to own a couple of radio stations. And these stations became available in April, and everything worked out. Stan bought them, and we now have independently owned radio stations in Oxford County and Androscoggin County, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have no audience to applaud that, so I'm going to do it.
I'll do it too. There's one person.
I think that's awesome. I think radio is a lifeblood for many, many, many reasons, and to have some local ownership, that's great. And I know Stan has been behind. He was behind the change to Frank FM many years back in Portland.
Back when Frank first came on the air.
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the program manager.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's got, as you said, he's been in radio for 30 years, which is awesome. And your show, every time that I was in the area and was able to hear it, I liked it, and you were nice enough to have me on a couple of times. Every 2 years, it turns out.
Yeah. I check my emails too.
Yeah. And I always enjoyed what you brought to the show. It was different than what I hear typically in morning radio, and I think that your comedian skills line up with what seem to be broadcasting skills. Do you have a history in broadcasting, or did comedy kind of take over?
Kind of, sort of. I started broadcast. I used to announce races at Oxford Plains Speedway. Back in the...
That's different than a morning show.
Early 2000s, yeah. And then, funny enough, Stan's radio group at the time was a big sponsor at our track. And he heard me down on the track announcing, and he says, hey, do you want to come do radio in Portland? And I said, sure. So Stan gave me my first job in radio like 18 years ago. And now we're back.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
what
pretty
a great
cool.
story.
Yeah.
I love great stories.
Yeah, and the Breakfast Club is great because I get to interview, like you, I get to interview all kinds of different people on a weekly basis. And my goal is to become known as the Danny Cashman of Lewiston, Auburn.
You need to set your goals a little bit higher than that, please.
Someday.
Yeah, well, I don't even know how to respond to that. I think it's a good time to say that the Breakfast Club can be heard Monday through Friday on WIGY, which is what, 105.5 and 96.9?
96.9 in Oxford County.
Yeah, Oxford County, and that's every weekday morning. And your website, markturcotte.com, would be the place to find any 18-year-old birthday parties that you want to crash.
Now it sounds weird.
It does. It sounds
weird when you say it.
It sounds like you're about to do time. Mark Turcotte, everybody.